You like my Biggie photo? Me too. You know what draws your eye when you look at that? The crown.
What's good, people? Agent Julius reporting for duty. Thanks to the powers of our current disease Armageddon, I find myself with much more time to actually start catching up on cartoons that I haven't seen. So for the next few videos, I'm going to go watch through some series that I've been meaning to see, but I've been making up excuses of being too busy to see, and now that my excuses have officially run dry, I'm going to watch them. So first on this list is actually going to be The Owl House. The funny thing about Owl House is that I really didn't give it a shot until after I was watching another cartoon series, which is Kipo in the Age of Wonder Beasts. But that's reserved for another video. And I stopped watching Kipo midway to start Owl House, and then I got all caught up in Owl House. So now so Owl House is going to be the first one I'm going to talk about because it was the first cartoon that I finished to completion in this list. So let us all buckle into your own magical talking house, hang out with your favorite fugitive, smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm once again, and let's dive in to the Owl House. Now, before going into the Owl House, actually, I false advertised there, fake news. Let's first talk about the speed paint that I'm doing. This is King, one of the characters in the Owl House. His whole shtick is that he's a demon, but he's cute. So that's the joke. Oh, fear me, I'm a demon, but I'm a cute little dog. I'm a cute little Cubone. But King has a lot of attitude. So I thought, like, what would be a good picture for him? And I thought, what about that iconic Biggie Smalls picture with him in the crown? If I'm not mistaken, I think that's his last picture he ever took before he died, which is kind of an ominous thing. But here's King being a king and having a kingly portrait. So that's the story behind this particular speed paint. Okay, now let's actually talk The Owl House. I really enjoyed The Owl House, and I think my enjoyment was increased due to a very specific set of circumstances. Those circumstances was, as I mentioned earlier in this video, that I originally started watching Kipo in the Age of Wonder Beasts. To spoil the Kipo video that will eventually come out, I wasn't as struck by Kipo as I would have liked to be. And because of that, I stopped watching Kipo about 4 episodes in and was looking for something else. And so I decided, hey, let's check out the Owl House. Because the Owl House, like, I heard of the Owl House. I saw, art of it and stills of it. I'm like, let's give it a shot. So I decided to watch through it. And it was really good. It greatly exceeded my expectations. And I think the reason why it exceeded my expectations in this particular way is because of the main character, Luce. Luce, in her situation, is very believable. And that's not something I really caught in Kipo. I'm going to try to not mention Kipo too much because it's going to have its own dedicated video. But the thing is that okay, so the Owl House is about this character, Luce, who is a weirdo girl, it has that usual, like, wow, I don't fit in, look at my quirkiness, and she's having trouble in school because she's too quirky. So the principal says, like, this child needs to be straightened out, harumph, I say. And so her mother is like, oh, Luce, why do you have to be such a weirdo? I'm going to send you to normal camp. Like, I don't know if it's called normal camp, but it's camp. I think it's called Camp Normal.
We all love that you express yourself, but if you can learn to separate fantasy from reality, you may need to spend the summer here.
And so, she's sitting there waiting for the bus to take her off to the gulag, basically. And all of a sudden, she notices the equivalent of, like, Alice noticing the white rabbit. I forgot exactly what she sees, but she sees a creature. And she's like, oh, what a strange creature. Allow me to check this out. And she goes into, like, a closet that takes her to Narnia. And then she's in the magic world, right? So the Owl House takes place in this magical place known as the Boiling Isles, which is, the best way I can describe it is, like, imagine Diagon Alley from Harry Potter, but as an entire archipelago, basically. An archipelago, by the way, that's made on the corpse of a giant creature, which is pretty metal. But anyway, she then meets this character, come on, what's her name? Ida the Witch. Ida the Witch, right? And so Ida the Witch, her whole thing is like, oh, I'm a witch. I don't play by the rules. I'm a rebel, yo. She's actually like a wanted criminal. And of course, like the whole thing is like she's being chased by this harumph-I-say Inquisition. You can see there's a theme here about like, oh yeah, we're weird and cool, unlike the normie establishment that wants to take us down. So as like facetiously hokey as I'm making it out to be, it's actually really enjoyable, particularly because Luce is very believable in her situation because she's the quirky girl, but as soon as she starts experiencing actual insanity of the boiling aisles, she reacts with realistic fear. All too often, spoiler, this happens a lot in Kipo, you have the hoo-hoo, I'm a quirky character, and then they'll witness something that is like really off the wall, like something they would never expect. Like, yeah, you could be quirky, but if you grew up in the normal, boring, comfortable first world, real world, so to speak, then you're not going to just be able to shrug off a flying eyeball that shoots lightning bolts. You know what I mean? You're not going to go, oh, that's so cool. I mean, they do that to kind of like, you know, hype up the show to get the kiddies involved so that they'll buy the toys and all that stuff. You know, it's a whole Hollywood, like business side of Hollywood stuff. But what I really enjoy about Luce is that when she sees something freaky, she freaks out. She's like, what's that thing? Oh, that's so weird. And not like the good, cool, quirky weird, like the it can actually burn my skin off weird. And I really appreciate that because she's allowed to have the full range of emotion, which is something I've talked about before in characters I believe are the best characters, which is the ones that are allowed to express a full range of emotion without having to lobotomize themselves in order to fit some kind of niche in order to be like, oh, I'm too cool for emotions, or like, oh, I'm too serious to show weakness, you know, stuff like that. She's not lobotomized to be like, I'm too quirky to find stuff too weird and freak out about it. I always have to think it's cool and fun, and she's not like that. And I greatly love that because she still has her like, oh wow, let's have some fun moments. Like a good example. I should probably put up spoilers here because I'm going to start going into the first season. So I don't feel bad about the stuff I said earlier because you're going to see all that in episode 1. But anyway, from now on, spoilers. Here's the annoying spoiler tag. Anyway, taking some time to really think of a good example of what I mean by her keeping her quirk is that there's a scene later on in the series. I should not say a scene, but like a whole thing where she meets new friends. When she's hanging out with these friends, she's still kind of like, oh wow, this is really nifty, because they go to basically like a wizarding school, like a proper wizarding school that Luce kind of resents Ida because Ida didn't tell her about this cool wizarding school, because remember, Ida's like, I'm too cool for this, and this school is where they teach you how to be a square, man, and we're gonna be rebels. And like Luce is like, no, I want to learn magic, okay? Like, I'm cool with school as long as I'm learning cool stuff, which, you know, isn't that how we all are? Anyway, so she meets these friends, and she's like really like, oh, what's this thing? Ooh, what's this shiny thing? So she still has that quirky wonder to her, but again, as soon as something gets too real for her, she'll react realistically, which is why I really, really, really like Luce as a character for this particular instance. You know, it's kind of, now that I'm thinking about it, it's kind of funny that I'm drawing King instead of Luce. Because pretty much this entire video is dedicated on how I like the Owl House because I like Luce, which is good, okay? That should be a really good hallmark of why, like a good series. A good series that has a main character, the character who you're going to spend the most screen time with. If that character is really good, you got yourself a winning formula as far as I'm concerned. Because, you know, so I think of cartoons, spoiler alert, Kipo, where a lot of the side characters are really awesome, and like the main character doesn't like give you as much reward as you would like. Another example I can think of is probably Dragon Ball Z. Not to say that Goku, the main character, is not cool. It's just that there's a lot of people around him who are more interesting. Vegeta, mainly. Vegeta for life. Comment below if you're with me. Vegeta for life. Future Trunks specifically. Future Trunks is a close second, though. I do... The Vegeta clan is where it's at with me. Let's actually talk a little bit about King. I do like King because I do like the fact that he is also a character who has a very strong character type that is allowed to be broken. Much in the same way that Luce is the hoo-hoo, I'm quirky, except when things are weird, and then it's like too weird for me, but I still get to be quirky and be like a human around it. King is kind of like, oh, look at me, I'm arrogant. Oh, fear me, bow before me, but I'm too cute. Oh no, I'm being pet. You know, like, I like that he, you know, is constantly shamed, and sometimes even when the going gets too tough for him, he'll say like, okay, I did mean it. I'll be. There's like even a very specific episode where he's put in a position where like he has to admit that he's like a cute little cuddly something or other, and you know, of course, he stomps his feet and refuses, and then the going gets tough and he goes, all right, I'll go by Mr. Patty Cakes, just help me solve this problem. So I really like that, but again, he still has that you know, that too legit to quit, swagger no stagger kind of attitude. So I will allow him to be graced with the Biggie Smalls homage as far as the Speedpaint goes. So with all that babbling aside, let's go ahead and wrap it up for today. You people know the drill at this point. Hit the sacred buttons. If you like what you see and you want to see more, go ahead and comment below if you want to say something about the video or if you have any suggestions. Share the video because I command you to do it, and because you probably have nothing better to do because you're hauled up in a bunker as the world burns around you. And of course, you know you love sharing stuff that's in good taste, and I'm, of course, the greatest YouTuber that ever existed, hence my massive 50 subscribers that I have at the time of making this. And well, I appreciate all of you. I thank you very much. Please subscribe. I would love to have more of you. Also, go ahead and hit up the intro video that I always put down below that has the links to all of my social media, and I'll go ahead and put up all the links here so you can manually type them out if you're one of those strange people who like to use their keyboard like a strange, weirdy strange-o. And with all that said, I thank you for spending this time with me. I hope you all stick around. And until next time, adieu, sills. I don't have a chair, so I have to sit cross-legged on the ground when I do this, and it numbs the hell out of my legs. I hope you guys appreciate the suffering I go through as I sit in my comfortable home with a roof over my head and running water to slave away to entertain you weirdos.